don't know that there is a better one.
The
No,
businessmen.
intellectuals are good,
Maybe,
but
maybe the intellectuals are the best of the bad lot.
I don't know. William Buckley said he'd rather be governed by the
Right.
first 500 people in the Boston phone book than by the faculty of Harvard.
Right.
There's some truth in that too. I mean, intellectuals are. It's not because those people are stupid, the Harvard faculty.
Right.
It's because, I mean, would you want to be ruled? Academics are intellectuals. Would you want to hand over anything to?
No, but the intellectuals that the Torah says we should obey are the intellectuals in Torah. So I'm pretty sure that people who are learned in Torah are not going to embrace communism or Nazism or
No, but they'll do all kinds of.
anything too wacky.
But they are. But they're doing it every day. They're embracing things that are totally antithetical to well.
Like what?
Well, I mean, can you think of anything offhand that that has emerged from the Orthodox community?
Like Meir Kahana and the veneration for Baruch Goldstein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Baruch HaGever, as I call him. That's what they call him, Baruch the man.
I think there's a book. I think they sell it at 613. Mitzvah store Baruch HaGever.
Yeah, right.
A book in praise of Baruch Goldstein.
And it's also, so it means bless the man, and also that's his nickname, Baruch the man. But yeah, I mean, so those people are learned in Torah. I mean, I guess I really do feel like the best person to guide the life of any individual is that person themselves. And whatever shitty job they may do with it, they're better than anyone else.
Really? Wow, you have a lot of faith in the average person.
It's not that. It's just I have a lot less faith in myself to lead their life for them, and because I don't trust myself with it, there's not many I would trust. So, they'll fuck it up. Maybe they'll fuck it up less than I fuck up my own. Who knows?
Remember, there's a very strong text in here against sodomy. The Torah really doesn't like sodomy.
Yeah, sodomy is an abomination.
Yeah. There's a text in here that says sodomy is abomination. Idolatry and sodomy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Should we make placards and go stand out at Beth Chaim Hadashim, the gay shul just down here on Pika? Shouldn't someone stand tall for the Torah?
Certainly, if I thought this book was divine revelation, then I would think that was my responsibility. Yes, I mean, because this is not a trifling thing. This is your life. This is the commandments that Hashem has enjoined upon you. So I'd at least be interested in hearing the excuse of the Talmud Torah guy who doesn't do that.
The Sodomites.
Who doesn't try to protest the Sodomites. But I would not do that. I'm not. I don't know. Why is the Torah? Why does the Torah despise sodomy the way it does as an abomination? It's very strong language.
It's like God hates fags.
Right. But
Reverend Phelps, he's being true to the Torah.
Right. Yeah. Either fags or at least faggotry.
Yeah, faggotry.
Why? But why? What's the I'm not. Look, I'm just mystified sometimes by the culture that has emerged around for gay guys is not my thing, and but what's the big deal? I don't understand why. Why should I care? What's wrong?
When I was a kid, whenever you hated someone, the first epithet that would come to your mouth was "you faggot."
Right.
Was that true in your upbringing?
It remains true. Yes.
Was that you faggot? Was that one of the first epithets of choice?
Yes, it was between.
What were the epithets of choice in your upbringing? You hated someone and you wanted to down them. What would you say?
Yes, fag or faggot was a big one.
Yeah,
not in my Jewish school. I actually left and went to a then public school, and there in 5th grade. Yeah, that was a big one.
Did you play Smear the Queer?
Actually, I never did play Smear the Queer. I don't even know how it works.
Did they play that game around?
Yeah, they played. They were just finishing it, playing it at my public school when I got there in 5th grade, and I never played it. I didn't know what it was. Are you, Carlino? So why do you think that why does the Torah have such hang-ups around men who prefer to sleep with men rather than women? I mean, I'm kind of confused by it. I don't understand why they care. It seems like there are so many profound moral issues.
But I mean, the Torah cares about you mixing linen with wool. So.
Right. Well, why does it care about that?
At least,
I mean, I
think it's
understand
easier to understand why it's against sodomy than it's against wearing linen with wool. and you can't like plow a field with like an ox and a different type of animal yoked together, and you can't plant two of the same.
Right. So you don't you keep like with like. And,
Yeah.
Well, but then it should be for homosexuality. It should say men sleep with men, women with women. I mean, I get the like with like thing, not mixing things that are substantially different, but usually it's yeah. So that's where the homosexuality thing comes from. That men.
No, I don't think it comes from that. I think it. I think it comes from the Torah wanting to create families, and realizing that if you let men screw around with other men, they'd be less likely to.
But they're going to just
marry and
create
raise
miserable
kids.
families. Like that's one of the gay activists said about this gay marriage thing. Like straight people, why don't you let us marry each other? That way, maybe we'll stop marrying you. And that's truth to that. I mean, it's that not all. If every man were to be able to follow the whims of his own loins, only a relatively small percentage are actually going to choose to lead a gay lifestyle or to sleep with other men regularly. So. Yes, you'll have some families won't happen because those guys will be doing what they want, but the families they would have created would have been built on a lie anyway, that they'd be pretending to be attracted to their wife. That's a shitty thing. Those are the families the Torah wants. I don't want to be a part of that family. Like,
But is it really that much different than anyone who's married?
I think
Because anyone is like, there's not a whole heck of a lot of difference between.
No, I think
very
there's a
shortly
difference.
after you've been married, there are going to be a lot of other women you'd rather be having sex with than your wife.
Well, I think there's
Such
a
as
difference.
the secretary at work and,
Right.
and the schoolgirls walking down the street and, and the girls
Okay,
on
all right,
TV.
fair
and
enough.
it's
But I think
but you're restricted. Like, just imagine when she's old and fat, and you're 52. You've got
Right.
money,
Right.
and you've been stuck. You've got
Yeah.
this fat cow for a wife.
Look, it's a challenge, but I think that a relationship that at least starts with, relationships start with the lust and all that stuff. I think at least if it starts with that, I don't know. I mean,
Anyone who stays any man who stays faithful to his wife is not being true to his nature.
well, but
Just as much as a homosexual who abstains from homosexual sex, like the heterosexual who abstains from extramarital sex, is totally going against his nature. Just as much as someone with homosexual inclinations who doesn't go out and commit sodomy.
Well, okay, but one thing I'd say is that our nature is complicated. There's and there's an ethologist. Actually, I think he was accused of being a Nazi sympathizer, but he was a very influential ethologist named Konrad Lorenz. And he wrote a book called On Aggression that I found very interesting. And one of the things he said is that each creature is a parliament of impulses. And I was like, yes, exactly. So you're right. Part of a man is always going to be interested in inseminating other females, and you know what? Even during the period of lust, he's still got that in him. But he's got other impulses too. Is that if he respects that person, he doesn't want to violate the trust of someone he respects and cares about. So he will have lots of competing impulses, and so I wouldn't say he's not being true to his nature if he doesn't sleep with other women. I'd say he's probably being untrue to his nature if he pretends that he doesn't want to at all.
But he's being just as he's having to battle his inclinations just as much as the person who wants to have sex with men but doesn't because of religious or moral convictions. It's like the average man who's married, like he's dying to sleep with other women, but he doesn't for various reasons. And the religious homosexual who abstains from having sex with men.
Yeah, I guess it's just
Like, you're in a prison either way. A man who's married's in a prison, like, the only woman he can have sex with is his wife, and how fun is that? He's been with her for 11 years.
right. All right. Well, maybe this is all from the eagle's eye perspective. All commentary on human nature generally. It's true. But I just think that I don't know. I think it's different. I think that you have the master bank. You have the fact that you did. You have lots of things that mitigate the difficulty of it. Whereas if you're gay, then